Alright, let's talk about something you probably haven't thought about since you last played a video game and needed to buy a new sword: gold coins. Specifically, Korean gold coins. Now, when you think of Korea, you might think of K-pop. Incredible food that will make you question all your life choices. Or maybe even those ridiculously impressive esports athletes. But gold coins? It sounds a bit like finding out your quiet accountant has a secret past as a professional wrestler. It's unexpected, a little weird, but also, you absolutely want to hear the whole story. The journey of Korean gold coins is a wild ride, folks. It's a tale of kings, empires, hidden treasures, and a national identity forged in fire and, well, gold. This isn't just about dusty old pieces of metal. No. This is a story about power, art, and a country's struggle to find its place in the world. Imagine a history book, but instead of boring text, every page is a gleaming, intricately designed gold coin. Each one tells you something about the people who made it, the economy they lived in, and the king who probably spent way too much of it on lavish parties. We're going on a trip through time, from ancient kingdoms you've probably never heard of, all the way to the high-tech powerhouse that is modern South Korea. It's a story with more twists and turns than a daytime soap opera, and it's a lot more valuable. Think about it. In America, we see coins every day. We have our Lincolns, our Washingtons, our eagles soaring majestically. They're part of our national wallpaper. But what if your country's coins had a history of disappearing for centuries at a time? What if they were so rare that finding one would be like discovering Bigfoot was your mailman? That's the kind of drama we're dealing with here. The history of Korean gold coinage is a fascinating, often frustrating, but ultimately triumphant story. It's a mirror reflecting the soul of a nation that has been knocked down more times than a bowling pin, but always gets back up, shinier than ever. So buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the glittering golden history of the Korean peninsula. We'll look at coins so small you could lose them in your pocket lint, and so significant they could change our understanding of ancient trade. We'll compare them to the coins rattling around in your own pocket and uncover some truly bizarre historical fun facts along the way. By the end of this, you'll not only sound smarter at dinner parties, but you'll also have a newfound appreciation for how a tiny piece of gold can tell such a massive, epic story. And who knows, you might even start checking your change for a rare Goryeo Dynasty treasure. Spoiler alert, you won't find one, but a person can dream, can't they? Can't. Our story begins way back, over 2,000 years ago, in a time known as the Three Kingdoms period. Yes, just like the famous Chinese saga, but this one is the Korean edition, featuring the kingdoms of Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla. Now, at this point, the concept of a standardized coin as we know it wasn't really a thing yet. Instead, people were trading in what we might call proto-money. Think of it as money's awkward teenage phase. They used things like grain, cloth, and even knives as currency. But the elite, the fancy kings and nobles, they had a taste for something a bit more bling. They loved gold. They didn't mint it into coins, but they used raw gold in the form of nuggets and plates as a store of value and a way to show off. This was the era of spectacular gold craftsmanship. The kings of Silla in particular were the undisputed champions of gold. Archaeologists have unearthed magnificent golden crowns from their tombs. So intricate and delicate, they look like they were made by elves. These weren't just pretty hats. They were symbols of immense power and divine authority. This obsession with gold laid the groundwork for what was to come. It established gold as the ultimate status symbol, the material of kings. So while they weren't stamping a king's face on a gold disc just yet, they were certainly thinking, this shiny yellow metal is incredibly useful for looking important and buying loyalty. It was only a matter of time before someone decided to make it more portable. Imagine being a merchant in the Silla kingdom. You've just sold a cart full of premium kimchi, and the buyer pays you with a small lumpy gold nugget. It's valuable, sure, but it's a pain. You have to weigh it, test its purity, and haggle over its exact worth. It's the ancient equivalent of trying to pay for coffee with a gift card that might have $5 or $50 on it, and nobody knows for sure. The need for a standardized unit of value was becoming increasingly obvious. This is where the influence of neighboring China comes into play. China had a well-established system of cash coins, and ideas, like currency, have a way of crossing borders, whether you want them to or not. The first glimmers of actual coinage began to appear, but they were mostly bronze. Gold was still too precious, too sacred, to be used for everyday transactions. It was reserved for the highest echelons of society, for diplomatic gifts to the Chinese emperor, or for crafting breathtaking burial goods to ensure a comfortable afterlife. So, while you won't find a Goguryeo gold 1-1 coin from this period, the cultural significance of gold was firmly cemented. It was the metal of the gods and kings, the ultimate treasure. This period set the stage perfectly, creating a deep-seated cultural reverence for gold that would pop up again and again throughout Korean history, like a recurring character in a very long, very shiny TV show. Fast forward to the Goryeo dynasty, which kicked off in the 10th century. This is where things get interesting and a little bit confusing. The Goryeo rulers looked at their messy barter system and said, "You know what? We need to get our act together." They made the first serious attempts to create a national standardized currency. They minted bronze coins and even some silver ones. But gold? Well, gold was still playing hard to get. There's historical evidence of a very special, very rare silver coin called the Yunbyong. These were shaped like the Korean peninsula itself, which is just wonderfully patriotic. Some records mention that these might have been plated in gold for special occasions, creating a sort of supercharged version for the super rich. But an actual solid gold coin for circulation? It just wasn't happening. Why? Well, a few reasons. First, Korea doesn't have a ton of gold mines. The supply was limited, making it far too valuable to turn into pocket change. Second, the economy was still largely agricultural. Most people were perfectly happy trading rice for cloth and didn't see the need for these fancy metal discs. The government would mint coins, tell people to use them, and the general public would collectively shrug and go back to using grain. It was like trying to get your grandpa to use a smartphone. He knows it exists, but his trusty old flip phone works just fine. Thank you very much. Then came the Joseon dynasty, the longest-running act in Korean history, lasting over 500 years. Surely, with that much time, they must have gotten around to minting some gold coins, right? Wrong. For the most part, anyway. The Joseon kings were famously frugal and subscribed to a philosophy of Neo-Confucianism, which emphasized agriculture and looked down on commerce and flashy displays of wealth. They saw merchants as a bit grubby and gold as a potential source of corruption and moral decay. So, for centuries, the official stance was basically, gold is tacky. Real wealth is in the land. It was a bold anti-bling statement in a world that was increasingly obsessed with it. This official policy created a strange situation. Gold was still highly valued in secret. People hoarded it, and it was used in international trade, especially with China and Japan. But it all happened under the table. The government stuck to its guns, promoting the use of bronze coins and, later, paper money. This makes the Joseon period a frustrating one for gold coin collectors. It's like being a fan of a band that recorded one legendary album and then refused to tour for 500 years. The desire for gold was there, simmering beneath the surface of society, but the official policy kept a firm lid on it, creating a numismatic vacuum that would last for centuries. Now, just when you think the story of pre-modern Korean gold coins is a complete bust, history throws us a curveball. During the tail end of the Joseon dynasty, in the late 19th century, things started to change. Korea was being forced to open up to the outside world, and the government realized its old-fashioned economic system wasn't going to cut it against the industrial might of the West and Japan. So in a desperate attempt to modernize, King Gojong decided it was finally time to get with the program and mint some proper Western-style coins. And this time, they included gold. Finally. It only took them about 1,000 years. These first modern gold coins, minted around 1886, are incredibly rare. We're talking holy grail level for collectors. They were struck in denominations of 20, 10, and 5-1. But here's the thing. They were barely ever used. They were more of a statement piece, a way for the Korean Empire to say, hey, look at us. We have gold coins too. We're a real country, we promise. Most of them were likely given to foreign diplomats or kept by the royal court. Finding one of these in circulation would be like finding a unicorn grazing in Central Park. It's a beautiful thought, but it's not going to happen. Let's talk about the smallest and weirdest. While not made of gold, one of the most fascinating coins from this era is the tiniest bronze coin, the 1 fun. It was so small and had so little value that it was practically useless. People joked you needed a handful of them just to buy a single grain of rice. But back to gold. The official first gold coins were followed by a new series in the early 1900s, just before Japan formally annexed Korea. These coins, featuring a dragon on one side and the denomination on the other, were beautifully designed. They were Korea's last gasp of monetary independence before being swallowed by the Japanese Empire. These coins are not just rare, they are poignant artifacts of a kingdom on the brink of collapse. They represent a brief shining moment of hope and a desperate push toward modernity that came too late. Each gold 21 coin from 1906 is a tiny metallic tragedy, a symbol of what might have been. Compared to the massive gold coinages of other empires, Korea's output was minuscule. It's like a garage band that recorded one perfect demo tape before breaking up. The quality was there, but the quantity was heartbreakingly small, making every surviving piece an invaluable piece of history. Let's be honest, the main reason any king wants gold coins is not for buying groceries. It's for flexing. A gold coin is the ultimate national power-up. It's like, equipping your country with the best armor in an RPG. It sends a clear message to your friends, your enemies, and everyone in between. We are rich, we are stable, and you do not want to mess with us. Throughout history, issuing a gold currency has been the international sign for we have arrived. It's the geopolitical equivalent of buying a ridiculously oversized truck. It might be impractical, but boy, does it make a statement. For the Korean kingdoms, this was a constant struggle. They were wedged between the colossal power of China and the rising ambition of Japan. For centuries, China was the undisputed big boss of the region. They had a sophisticated monetary system, and Korean rulers often paid tribute to the Chinese emperor in raw gold. This wasn't just a tax, it was an acknowledgement of China's dominance. By not having their own gold coinage, the Korean kingdoms were, in a way, admitting they weren't in the same league. It was a constant source of national anxiety. When King Gojong finally decided to mint those gold 1 coins in the late 19th century, it was a deliberate act of defiance. Korea was declaring its independence and sovereignty, not just politically, but economically. The design of these coins was very telling. Instead of Chinese characters dominating the design, they featured Korean emblems, like the plum blossom crest, and inscriptions in Korean script. It was a declaration of cultural and national identity, stamped right onto the most valuable metal known to man. It was Korea attempting to change its status from a vassal state to a main character. This desire to project power through currency is a universal theme. Think about ancient Rome, splashing the emperor's face on gold ori and sending them to the farthest corners of the empire. Or Great Britain, whose gold sovereigns, featuring St. George slaying a dragon, became the world's most trusted coin. It was a symbol of the British Empire's global reach. Korea's late entry into this game meant its gold coins never achieved that kind of international fame. But their purpose was the same. They were a tool of statecraft, a shiny metallic piece of propaganda designed to boost the nation's prestige on the world stage. It was a high-stakes bet that unfortunately, history didn't allow to pay off. So, how do these rare Korean gold coins stack up against the big players, like the good old United States of America? It's kind of like comparing an indie film, Darling, to a massive Hollywood blockbuster. American gold coins, like the famous St. Gordon's Double Eagle, were minted by the millions. They were the workhorses of the economy, symbols of a nation absolutely overflowing with wealth and industrial power. The Double Eagle is big, it's heavy, and its design just screams, America, heck yeah, with a majestic Lady Liberty striding forward, torch in hand. It's confident, it's bold, and honestly, it's about as subtle as a monster truck rally. Korean gold coins, on the other hand, are the complete opposite. They are really defined by their scarcity. While the United States was churning out gold coins like they were going out of style, which, in 1933, they literally did, Korea was minting its gold coins in tiny, almost symbolic batches. The designs are also a study in contrast. American coins often feature allegorical figures like liberty, but Korean coins drew from their own unique cultural symbols. The most prominent was the dragon, a powerful and auspicious creature in East Asian mythology, representing divine authority and protection. It was a way of grounding the coin in Korean tradition, even as it adopted a Western format. This difference basically tells you everything you need to know about the two nations' histories in the early 20th century. The United States was a global power on the rise, confidently projecting its influence across the world. Its gold coins were a tool of that expansion. Korea, however, was a nation fighting for its very survival. Its gold coins were not a tool of expansion, but a shield of defense, a desperate attempt to preserve its identity in the face of overwhelming foreign pressure. The American Double Eagle feels like a statement of fact. The Korean 21 feels like a statement of hope. For a collector, this creates a fascinating dynamic. You can build a comprehensive collection of US gold coins with enough time and, let's be honest, a ton of money. It's a challenging but achievable goal. Collecting Korean gold coins from the imperial era? That's a quest of a totally different order. It requires not just money, but incredible luck, deep connections, and honestly, the patience of a saint. Each coin is a survivor, a rare specimen from a species that was nearly wiped out before it even had a chance to flourish. It's this rarity and the poignant story behind them that makes them so intensely desirable. History is never as neat and tidy as it looks in textbooks. It's full of weird detours, bizarre decisions, and moments that make you go, wait, really? The story of Korean coinage is no exception. For instance, remember that whole Joseon dynasty policy of shunning commerce and coins? Well, it led to some pretty strange workarounds. At one point, the government tried to introduce paper money made from mulberry bark. It was called jowa. The problem? It wasn't very durable, and people just didn't trust it. It was basically the historical equivalent of trying to pay for your groceries with a drawing of a $20 bill. It failed spectacularly. Here's another fun fact. During the Goryeo dynasty, when they were trying to get people to use coins, the resistance was so strong that the king had to issue decrees forcing his own officials and soldiers to use them. He even set up government-run taverns and tea houses in the capital, with the specific rule that you could only pay with coins. Imagine a government so desperate to get its currency going that it basically invents the happy hour. It's a level of state intervention in the pursuit of getting people to spend money that is both hilarious and, honestly, deeply relatable to anyone who's ever tried to split a dinner bill with friends. But perhaps the most surprising twist came during the Japanese colonial period, from 1910 to 1945. After annexing Korea, Japan completely replaced the Korean won with the Japanese yen. All those beautiful dragon-emblazoned Korean coins were melted down. It was a deliberate act of cultural erasure. Japan wasn't just conquering a nation, it was trying to wipe its identity off the map, and that included its money. This makes the few surviving imperial gold coins even more precious. They aren't just rare because of low mintage. They are rare because they survived a systematic attempt to destroy them. They are symbols of resilience by their very existence. And here's a final tidbit for you. The word for money in Korean is don. And the word for crap or poop is dong. They sound amusingly similar to a foreign ear, a fact that has surely led to some interesting misunderstandings over the years. This has absolutely nothing to do with gold coins, but it feels like the kind of important cultural information that just gets left out of the history books. The journey of Korean money is filled with these kinds of strange, human details, from government-run pubs to unfortunate-sounding words, proving that economics is always way weirder than you think. After the devastation of the Japanese occupation and the Korean War, South Korea performed what is now known as the Miracle on the Han River. It transformed itself from one of the poorest countries in the world into a global economic titan. And what do you do when your country becomes a major economic player? That's right, you start minting gold coins again. It's the ultimate "we made it" statement. The Bank of Korea, starting in the 1980s, began issuing a series of stunning commemorative gold coins celebrating everything from the Olympic Games to Korean cultural heritage. These modern coins are a world away from their imperial predecessors. They are not meant for circulation, but are designed for collectors and investors. They are minted using the latest technology, resulting in flawless finishes and incredibly detailed designs. One of the most famous modern series is the Chiwoo Cheonwang series. Chiwoo Cheonwang is a legendary figure in Korean mythology, a god of war with a demonic-looking mask. Putting him on a gold coin is just objectively cool. It's like the United States putting Thor on a quarter. It's a celebration of national mythology and a brilliant piece of marketing. These coins serve a dual purpose. On one hand, they are a way for South Korea to participate in the global bullion market, competing with the American eagle, the Canadian maple leaf, and the South African Krugerrand. They are a solid investment, a tangible piece of a thriving economy. On the other hand, they are miniature cultural ambassadors. Each coin, whether it depicts a famous Korean folk painting, a historic fortress, or a mythical tiger, tells a small story about Korea. It's a way of projecting the nation's rich culture and history to a global audience, 1 ounce of pure gold at a time. This modern revival of gold coinage connects the present directly to the past. It's the triumphant final chapter to the story that began with those rare, almost mythical imperial coins. King Gojong's dream of a modern, respected Korea with its own gold currency was crushed by outside forces, but a century later, that dream has been reborn in spectacular fashion. The new generation of Korean gold coins, bold, beautiful, and globally recognized, are a testament to the country's incredible journey. They are a symbol that Korea is no longer just a player on the world stage. It's one of the stars of the show. So, after this whirlwind tour of Korean history through the lens of a few shiny metal discs, you might be wondering, who cares? We live in an age of cryptocurrency, digital payments, and tapping our phones to buy coffee. Why should we care about gold coins that were minted over 100 years ago or even last year? The answer is that these coins are more than just money. They are tangible pieces of a story, a nation's autobiography written in gold. They connect us to the past in a way that a history book or a Wikipedia article simply can't. Holding one is like shaking hands with history. The story of Korean gold coins is a microcosm of the Korean story itself, a tale of ambition, frustration, tragedy, and ultimately, incredible triumph. From the golden crowns of Silla to the failed modernization of the Korean Empire to the globally celebrated bullion of today, these coins chart the highs and lows of a nation. They are a reminder that a country's identity is a precious thing, something to be protected, celebrated, and sometimes stamped onto a piece of gold for the whole world to see. They matter to collectors for their rarity, but they should matter to all of us for the human drama they represent. For an American audience, this story offers a fresh perspective. We are used to a history of expansion and dominance, reflected in our currency. The Korean story is one of resilience and survival. It's a powerful reminder that there are many different paths to modernity and success. It enriches our understanding of the world and the complex histories of our global partners. By learning about something as specific as Korean gold coins, we learn about the shared human desires for identity, security, and a place in the world. And let's be honest, the dragon designs are just way cooler than a picture of a building. In the end, these gold coins are a bridge. They connect ancient Korea to modern Korea, showing a continuous thread of cultural pride. They connect Korea to the rest of the world, marking its journey from a secluded kingdom to a global trendsetter. And they connect us, in our digital age, to the very real, very heavy, and very shiny realities of the past. So the next time you see a news report about South Korea, remember that behind the technology and the pop music, there's a deep, rich history, a history that's as good as gold, literally.